So can you introduce yourself and tell us what you do at MyTrail?
Hi, my name is Dimitri Kupinas. I founded MyTrail, and I'm the CEO. I just go by Coop most of the time. And I do a lot of almost everything, although we've got a few great people that have joined us now, and so I don't do everything anymore.
So take us back just briefly for everybody who invested, maybe give a short timeline of MyTrail, the business, since it all got started.
Sure. MyTrail started early in 2015. And back then it was an idea, of course, like all businesses start, but it was a more concrete idea with a lot more flesh on the bones than a lot of typical startups. I had started with my family and run a business called GoLight, based here in Boulder, Colorado, since 1998. That was the global leader in light and ultralight outdoor gear. And what MyTrail was doing was taking the very best of the designs and the best of the performance of GoLight and doing that, but mistakes that GoLight had made, we're going to do the opposite. We're not do that. And so we basically went out to all of our customers whose emails we had at that point and said, hey, we want to start this business, MyTrail. We want to do what worked at GoLight. We want to bring back your favorite products. We want to never do the products you didn't really care very much about. We want to open small stores because our small stores made money at GoLight and the larger stores didn't. And what do you think? And the response was really good, solid. We had a lot of folks come on early on, and then we had other people say, well, we're interested, but let's see some products first, and then maybe we'll get in. We had other people say, okay, well, we're interested, but let's wait till we actually see a website up and selling. And other people wanted to see a store open up. And so at each stage, every 5-6 months, we've hit a major milestone, and then more and more people convert from being mildly interested or more interested to actually joining up and investing. And basically all of our investors, over 350 now, all of them are customers.
Oh, cool. So so since the first investor on WeFund or even your interstate campaign, tell us about some of the what's gone on, right? What's been happening with MyTrail?
Well, early on we started with just a business plan and all the products, all the product designs, and we told everybody, look, when we hit this first $200,000 milestone, we're going to be able to bring in this set of equipment that sells well online only and open up the web, and we did that back in April, May of last year, 2017, 2016. And then a few months later, we were able to bring in down jackets for the fall of 2016. So the four most popular down jackets and hooded jackets and parkas from GoLight we added last year, and that was the start of our apparel collection. Now, we didn't have any spring apparel last year at all. And when WeFunder started up and we could do Title III crowdfunding raises across state lines, we were very excited and got started with you guys right at the start. And the first wave of people that invested through WeFunder in our first round enabled us to bring in 18 styles this spring of spring-summer apparel. Trail running and hiking tops and bottoms, waterproof breathable storm shells, tops and bottoms, terrific hyperlight and ultralight shirts, and shorts. And so now we really have a full year-long line. And we had another raise with WeFunder in our second round. We were able to bring in enough capital to launch 14 styles of down jackets and parkas and hooded jackets and vests for this fall. So our line this year in apparel has gone from 0 spring-summer styles to 18, and from 4 in the fall to 18 there too. And so we really have a much, much better full offering this year.
Cool. So you've used this funding to fill out your inventory that was close to nothing, and now you have 36 apparel styles. Is that what I heard?
Yeah.
For all the seasons.
Yeah, basically every bit of investment goes straight into production, and then the more that we bring in, the more terrific styles we can bring out. And none of these are, just somebody's idea of what people might like. These are all styles that GoLight had. They're all updated and improved at the margins where we can. But we already know their sales history. We already know how they sell at various price points. We already know not only how many people are interested in them, but in many cases their names and addresses and email addresses. And so we're really just mapping a store count and an inventory level and a group of styles against the demand that we have from customers and the supply that we're able to bring out from both sales to customers and investment from investors. And again, those are largely overlapping groups of people.
How's the response been so far? I mean, from customers that were Go Light fans, now My Trail fans, like, what is, I mean, anecdotally at least, how are people responding to the new brand and everything about it?
Well, most of it's good. It certainly, when you're dealing with any large numbers, you get the full spectrum. Mm-hmm. There are people who love what we're doing. There are other people who don't know why we didn't, bring out their favorite sweater first. Like, well, we're not only not bringing that first, we're not bringing it out ever because it didn't sell very well.
Yeah, it only sold to you.
Other people, don't know why we wouldn't start with vests the very first season, and we do have a couple of down vests coming out this fall, but vests don't. Vests sell about 10% the level that a comparable jacket sells, and so you don't do them right at the start. And then response to the brand has been interesting too. Some people really like the Go Light brand, and so I don't like the My Trail brand as well. The Go Light brand was so great, blah blah blah, and it's really interesting for me because I started Go Light, and so I saw the adoption all the way along, and frankly, some of the chatter that I hear now reminds me of 20 years ago. And I said, it's interesting because I heard all the same things about the Go Light brand back then. The brand really is what you make of it with the products and the experiences that people have with it. Now, other people are exactly the opposite. They really like the way the brand looks, sounds, feels. It's a very crisp, modern take on things. And some of that is just generational. People that knew Go Light for years and years and years were very attached to it. And lots of new customers that come across My Trail like it just the way that it is.
And almost the biggest thing from our perspective is you opened a store, right in Boulder on Pearl Street. For those who don't know Boulder very well, can you talk about the new store, where it is, and
so Pearl Street is the heart of the walking mall shopping district in Boulder. When tourists come to Boulder, that's where they go. When your friends and family visit you in Boulder, that's where you take them. And so if you have a store on the Pearl Street Walking Mall, then people who come to Boulder once in their life will see you. People that come to Boulder once a year will see you. Everybody that lives in Boulder or in the neighboring towns surrounding Boulder, like Longmont where I am, they will come and see you 2, maybe 3 times a year when they bring their out-of-town visitors, when they're down for the festival, when they drop by after the Boulder or other various events, Boulder Peak Festival. And so you see them all too. If you have a terrific following in town and you open a store that has great ample parking, you may see some of those most loyal customers a lot more often, maybe 2 or 3 times as much. But you'll never see the person that's visiting.
Yeah.
So that's why we really like that Boulder location. So at Go Light, the number 1 store was the website, and the number 2 store in sales and profitability was the Boulder store on Pearl Street. And so we're just 2 blocks away from that one. We're at one end of the mall where that was at the other end. And we're in a store that's about 60% the size and looks very similar. Some people have walked in and think that they're in the same store because they both happen to have a big brick historical face on the right side as you walk in. And so for some people, it's a little deja vu. But it is a different space. It's smaller. And we use it as the headquarters and the distribution center as well as the store right now because everything that we sell fits nicely in 1,000 square feet in the front. Mm-hmm. And so we have our website and our distribution center in the back, about 1,225 square feet. Over time, as the line grows and sales in Boulder grow, we'll move that back operation out to a more traditional, inexpensive distribution center a few miles away from the heart of Boulder on that walking mall.
Yeah, but why not utilize the same space? So what, what's next? I mean, you're raising a new round all of a sudden, and continuing to expand because it's going well. Like, what are the plans for the future, and how much do you need to fund it all? Tell us about that.
Well, we've got a few important work streams going on in concert all the time. And that is that there are lots and lots of customers who want the next wave and the next wave and the next wave of products. Basically, brought out a good number of our absolutely most popular products, but there's waves after that are popular too, just not as popular. Mm-hmm. And so people want those products, great. The reason we haven't brought them out yet is a combination of allocating capital to its absolute highest use on the most popular things first, and also there are minimums that you need to produce for a product. We don't make things one at a time. We make 800 and 1,200 at a time of a style typically. And some of the products that we sell quantities like that in just one store on Pearl Street and the website. Others take a higher number of stores. So we know where the next most popular store locations would be for us too. Up in Silverthorne in Summit County in the heart of ski country, in 3 of the other Front Range towns that were very strong for us, Denver and Fort Collins and Colorado Springs. And so over the next year and a half, we want to open stores in those locations as we bring in the next waves of products. So, for instance, the 14 styles of down that we have this fall, we want to be selling that online and in our Pearl Street store, but also at another store sometime this winter. And then next year, as we bring in some of our ultralight wind shells, as we bring in 6 new packs, as we bring in pyramid shelters and base layers and soft shells, then all of that will benefit from a few more stores in the places in the Front Range where it's most in demand.
Because you can't sell out those styles in one store. You need 4 stores to sell the vests and to sell these new things. Great. So how do you think? So which products are selling best? Do you have anything you can show us, or tell us about sort of the best-selling stuff?
Sure. I can. What I'll do is I'll tell you a little bit, and first, anybody that wants to see the whole line ought to go to our website, mytrailco.com. You can just Google search MyTrail and it will come up too, and then you can see everything. There are shelters and packs and umbrellas that are great in the desert as well as for rain. And there's also now a full complement of apparel. The sales are very much balanced right across the whole product group, and that's expected. We made what we knew would sell in the proportions that it would sell because we have the data set. It's not, we're not shooting in the dark here. And so over time, that creates a good opportunity as you bring in another round and another round of products. You've sold through the previous rounds in fairly good proportions. The most popular products of all are a couple of shelters, packs, and down jackets. And just as an example, I'll grab a jacket that we're bringing out this coming year. This is a prototype of something that was called the Bitterroot at GoLite, and it's 850 down. The very, very lightest fabrics that you can contain that down with, and it was a really popular item. And it's those down jackets that really sell, far and away the best in the fall. They actually sell surprisingly well in the spring and the summer too, because most people forget that most real mountaineering is done in the spring and the summer. In the winter, it's too cold and too dangerous, and there's not enough light to make it fun to go to some of the places that people go in the spring and the summer. And most brands don't sell a whole lot of down in the spring and summer, mainly because they're managing their floors and they're thinking like a very traditional business, and so they clearance those products and get rid of them. We think about it very differently. Our customer base is authentic. And, all of our men and women, older folks, younger folks, everything in between, they really get out and use this stuff outdoors and have fun with it. It's not, It's not for posing at cocktail parties.
Yeah, it's
And
utility.
so all year long, they're using down jackets, just in different environments. And all year long, for that matter, they're using shorts and short sleeve shirts. Some of the things that you go trail running with in the summer, you wear in the gym right in the dead of winter. Let alone the fact that you can wear shorts around here 10 months a year.
And so, tell us about this investor base. I mean, you're one of the first companies to have 300 plus. I mean, this many investors, and we're curious, and I'm sure they're curious to know how that's been helping your business, and what the interaction has been between MyTrail and all these people that have invested in your success.
Yeah, so they help in a number of ways. First and most important and most obvious and most direct is the money. The money that these people invested is exactly what allowed us to produce all this product and get up off the ground and get started selling. And so, it's obvious, but it still needs to be stated up front. Now, on top of that, we get a couple of real good benefits besides from this customer base. All the customers that invested, they have something to say now and then about the products that they'd like to see, how they'd like to see things run, where they'd like to see open up, where they don't want to see open up. Lots and lots of entrepreneurs can tell stories about people with all kinds of advice that makes no sense if you actually knew the details of what we face day to day. This base of investors actually knows what we're doing very, very well because they were customers of GoLight beforehand. Mm-hmm. And so they understand very well what's going to work, what's not going to work. And so I get very insightful comments from them. Cool. And so I don't have, those stories to tell that some other entrepreneurs tell about their investors driving them crazy. I love my investors. And every now and then I get really good redirection and insight and tips from them. And we get to incorporate those, fairly quickly. The other thing that they do is it's straight word of mouth. Yeah. They buy a lot of product themselves. They get 20% discounts every day on already great prices as part of their investment. But they also spread the word a lot, and they tell other people about us, and that's very, very helpful too.
Cool. So how can they, if you're talking to those investors that haven't been participating as much as others, or the whole group in general, I mean, what else can they do to just help MyTrail be as successful as possible?
Well, I think even more of that third piece, even more spreading the word would be terrific because early sales really have such a profound effect long term. Everything that goes right in these early seasons begins a growth path and opens up a wedge that just does so much long term. And so every friend that they can turn on, everybody they can send our way in these early seasons, that's so important. So, for instance, when it's holiday shopping time, we very much set up an environment that makes it very easy to do one-stop holiday shopping at our place. And we'd encourage just about all of our investors, to, for the most part, do that. Now, obviously, you're going to have special gifts for special people at certain phases of their lives that we can't take care of. But people that are outdoorsy, which is virtually all of our investing customers, if you want to take care of a bunch of friends at the holidays, come and get them a fantastic $229 jacket that's only $119 every day at our place, and with your discount, you're under $100. And what we find is that it works well for people regardless of who they're getting the gifts for. Some of their friends think they love them twice as much as they do. Mm-hmm. And other friends know that they're a cool connection that's invested in a Boulder outdoor company, and it's all good.
Yeah, it's the easiest way to spread it is to put it in people's hands. I mean, if you were to tell them the best way to talk about MyTrail, how would you if you were to give your investors sort of the best way to describe your business and why it's so different, like what would you say?
We make light, high performance, authentic outdoor gear, and then we take great pride in making it affordable for people. This isn't an ego trip. We don't want to pose and say we have the finest, most technical things in the market, and we're proud of the fact that very few people can afford it. It's quite the opposite. We want to democratize the outdoors. We want to take the highest performance fabrics and other materials, put them together in terrific products And then we have this business model that sells it direct to people and saves that huge margin that goes into retailers' pockets. And frankly, it's just the same model as the investment model, that we're raising capital directly from our customers who invest, and so we're able to deliver a whole lot more to people. So you get a great product at a great price. That's really the story.
Cool. It's a good story. So do you have, before we sign off, anything you want to say directly to investors?
Well, actually, more than anything, I want to say directly to you is I thank WeFunder very much for being innovators in finance. You've come along at just the right time for lots of companies, us included, and you're enabling something for us. You're enabling people to invest from 49 other states, let alone outside the country, instead of just inside of Colorado like we were before. And that's putting us together with an awful lot of our most passionate customers, and that's an invaluable service to us and to them. So thank you.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's why we're here. But so, do you have a sense of what percentage of your investors are outside the Boulder, Denver area?
Oh yeah, I know where all of them are, although I don't have the exact figures memorized. But basically, we have somewhat more than half of our investors are certainly outside Boulder. There's about half in Colorado. There's about half outside Colorado. Just a few that are outside the country, and those that are in Colorado are certainly concentrated in Boulder, in the greater Boulder area and the greater Denver area. Denver's where there's more people than anywhere else, and more money than anywhere else in Colorado. And Boulder, of course, is our neighborhood and our backyard. But they're spread. The rest of the Coloradans are spread all over, not just the Front Range, but also the western slope, which is where the mountains are and beyond the mountains. And outside of Colorado, it's a wonderful, very broad mix. It's easy to think, okay, where do people think in terms of cutting edge and capital and outdoors? Oh, it must all be coming from California, and plenty of it is. But it's not just California. It's from a lot of good outdoor playgrounds throughout the West and the East, and as I said, some beyond our borders that are from the darndest places. And some of it's really surprising. The most interesting thing for me in this entire process has been to set up an open house or a town hall and go someplace and give a slideshow and advertise it a month in advance, and then go, and a few people show up, and some of them invest and others become customers and think and talk about it. But while I'm talking at the open house, somebody 2 miles away goes online and makes a big investment, and they couldn't be bothered to come 2 miles, shake hands, look me in the eye, see what the whole business plan is, but they invest. And but obviously different people get excited about things in different ways, and it's the same phenomenon as sometimes we get a nice big order and you go to fill it online and put it all in the box and print the label, and the label is 7 blocks away in Boulder.
Yeah, it could be across the world, and it could be right down the street.
Go figure. Yeah, and other people drive an hour and a half because they want to see it, touch it, feel it, and put it on in the dressing room first.
And some people get it delivered down the street.
Yeah, well, I thank all of our investors very much. 360 investors and counting are what put us in business and what built all the products that we have and built the customer base that we have and allowed us to open a flagship on Pearl. And I thank you all very much for getting us where we are now. And we're very excited to take more steps each season as we go forward. Thank you.